Hola, bienvenidos a this new video, Learn Spanish with WorldsAcross. And yes, if you think you hated grammar, it's because you haven't learned it with WorldsAcross yet. And yes, today we have a new format where basically I'm gonna teach you by writing, and I love this. This is gonna be like our keyboard or whiteboard actually. Okay, so today we have a very special episode because yes, I know you struggle with this. I know you always think about how a table is a feminine noun, and then you need to match it with a feminine adjective, and etc, etc, etc. It could be confusing. So today we're going to talk. I'm sorry about that. We're going to talk about genders in Spanish, géneros en español. Specifically, we're going to talk about articles and adjectives. Because yes, we have a different story for nouns, but at the moment we are not going to talk about them. Okay, so let's start with articles and adjectives. What is an article, Juan? It sounds so tricky. Artículos, no. Artículos en español. All right, so just to make it easy for you, this is exactly the same to articles in English. In English, we have the article the, or the definite article, or indefinite article a or an, right? For example, here we have in English the apple. When you know specifically what apple are you talking about, right? Or you have the indefinite article a or an when you have to say to talk about any apple, okay? For example, an apple, right? But you know English, I know. It's like, Juan, you're teaching me English? What? No, wait. It's just to create this relationship with Spanish, right? In Spanish, we have the same logic, right? We have definite and indefinite articles. The interesting part is that there is a new player in the house. The new player is the gender. And yes, in Spanish we have two genders, and this could be controversial, but we're not going to talk about that today. We're gonna leave it for another video, okay? Today we're gonna focus in masculine and feminine, okay? So masculine and feminine. All right. Now that I talk about what are articles, and again, articles in English are THA or AAN, okay? In Spanish, we have the definite article when you know what you're talking about, la or las for feminine. And what is the difference between la and las? Basically, one is singular and one is plural. So a different layer? Yes, there is a different layer here, okay? So when I talk about a definite article, you know what you're talking about. For example, la manzana. La manzana. The apple, right? Beautiful handwriting, huh? Very good. Now, let's go to the other side of the road. Let's talk about articles like in masculine. And we have el. And look at this interesting story. It's not es, because that sound is not possible in Spanish. Adding an s here is not possible. We will grab for the plural form of the masculine, like definite article would be los. So les and los for masculine. El and los for masculine. One is singular and one is plural. All right? So an example for this. Let's take a look at an example. El auto. The car, right? The plural form. Los autos. So what's the interesting part of the story here? The interesting part of the story, and what we cover in a different video, is that we need to know the gender of the noun. This lady, how to identify that an apple in Spanish is a feminine noun. We're going to talk about that in a different video, okay? At the moment, we know that having a noun, feminine, matches with the feminine article, right? Here we have definite articles singular and plural, feminine and masculine, okay? But we have something else. Do we have something else? Yes, we do have something else, because we have undefinite articles when we don't have certainty of like what the thing is. Like, for example, we have an apple. Any apple could be any apple, right? Let's analyze this. So we have definite articles, singular and feminine, because we started with feminine in the previous explanation. Una or unas. And again, we apply the same logic here. Una is for singular and una is a plural form. An example for this one, let's keep the apples, because we already know that an apple is a feminine noun in Spanish, right? Una manzana. Una manzana. An apple. Any apple. Una manzana roja. And we'll talk about this in a minute. So we have feminine, singular, and indefinite. This is beautiful. If we want to talk about unas manzanas, it's obviously like a plural form of the apple, like apples. Do you see that? In English, you don't need the article in that case. In Spanish, you would say, hey, I want some apples. Hey, quiero unas manzanas. All right? There's the form to, like, of this undefinite article in a masculine form. Yes, there is. Look at this. Unos. Yes, like number one. Yeah, similar. And let's use the same logic, the same example we use with the car. Un auto. Singular, masculine, and indefinite. Any car. I want a car. It could be any type of car. It could be a Volkswagen or a Renault or a Ford or a Chevy, whatever. I just want a car. Or I can see cars. I can see cars, right? Plural form, masculine, and indefinite. Unos autos. We got that covered, right, guys? So, to sum up, articles and genders. First, we need to know, and that comes in a different video, we need to know the noun, the gender of the noun. By knowing that, we're gonna use the articles to classify, to qualify them, not to qualify them, to classify them as undefinite and indefinite. Definite when we know what we're talking about specifically, and indefinite we could be when we don't have the specific information of that noun, right? For example, the best logic to analyze this is the articles in English, the, N, A, or A-N, right? A-N, right? Beautiful. So let's move on and let's talk about genders, because I gave you an example a couple minutes ago where I said, guys, look at this. Look at my paper, at my whiteboard. I said, una manzana. Then I put something else, una manzana roja, right? We know the apple is a noun, right? And apple is feminine and it's singular. Beautiful. We know that it could be any apple, right? So knowing that is feminine and singular, we're gonna put the undefinite article una. Una, all right, definite article, feminine and singular. Beautiful. And what is this roja? And why this roja is important? I know that you know that rojo or roja is the color. But yes, I just mentioned two different words, because adjectives most of the time also have genders and they need to match. Look at this. This is the adjective to describe the color of the apple, roja, and that last vowel changes according to the gender of the noun. Roja if it's a feminine, rojo if it's a masculine noun. In this case, the apple is feminine, so the adjective would be roja, and this is beautiful, right? And let's analyze this for a second. How would it change if we use a plural form? Like if we're not talking about an apple, but several apples, like some apples, right? We would put, of course, an S at the end of the noun, manzanas, an S at the end of the article, unas manzanas, and an S at the end of the adjective, unas manzanas rojas. It should be coherent. It should make sense. All right. So adjectives, they also have genders or not, because, and look at this. This is a pro tip. Let's look at this interesting adjective. And I know you can't relate with this one because you're studying Spanish, right? And you're basically una persona inteligente. Una persona inteligente. I just said you are una persona inteligente. We have this adjective, right? Inteligente. It's a very interesting adjective. It means intelligent. Obviously, you know this. I know you know this because you are inteligente. Usted es una persona inteligente. And yes, I just said una persona inteligente. And you may be thinking right there, Victor or John or Rick, like, okay, Juan, but why would you use a definite, undefinite article for feminine in singular if I'm a dude? I'm a man. You know, I'm a boy. Look at this. The word persona, either if it's a boy or a girl, if a man or woman, the word itself has a gender, and this is what we care about today, right? The word persona is a feminine word. You are una persona inteligente. And you may be thinking, Juan, let's follow the logic that we had in manzanas, right? In apples. Shouldn't it be inteligenta? That's a very good question. And let me tell you, no. Because there are some adjectives that are neutral gender, or they work with both genders, however you like to see it. Most of these adjectives have this ending, and they're pretty fun. They're very good to use, right? Because you don't have to think about the changing the gender. So in this case, inteligente, interesante, inteligible are adjectives that basically they don't change, right? They don't change according to the noun. So this is not the case for most of the time, so we have to basically change the adjective according to the noun. Let's make a couple examples, okay? Just to sum up. Real quick, vamos a ver. Libro, amigos, and mesa, that is a table, and that's it. Libro, we could say a interesting book. Un libro. And we just said interesting is one of those neutral adjectives. I don't have more space, but you know, interesante, right? Amigos. Look at this. Let's say we want to call our friends like the fun friends. We would use, because we know what kind of friends, which friends are we talking about, right? Los amigos. And then I know you know this word, divertidos. Beautiful. Look at this. Definite plural, masculine, noun masculine plural, and divertidos, adjective for fun, plural and masculine. Beautiful. Finally, let's talk about the grade table. Let's say the big table, right? Because we know what kind of table are we talking about. We know that table. We have seen that table. I want the big table, not any table. We know that mesa is a feminine, so we know we have to use article indefinite for feminine in singular. La mesa, and then we would put the adjective to describe the table, the big table. La mesa grande. And yes, what you're thinking is right. Oh wait, Juan, but you said that most of adjectives that ends with an E, they are neutral. You are right. I'm a very good teacher apparently. Because yes, this is neutral gender. You don't need to do anything else here, guys. And well, that was it for the moment. At least talking about adjective and articles. Of course, we have more to talk about related to genders in Spanish. And obviously, I'm gonna see you in a different video of Learn Spanish with WorldsAcross. I hope you like it. If you like it, make sure to leave a like, to subscribe, and to put in the comments all the examples you want to share with us. Amigos, amigas, I'll see you in the next Learn Spanish with WorldsAcross. Adios!